Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Jermaine Morgan TV. This is Jermaine Morgan, and today I have the pleasure of having my brother Jraines with me. And today we're going to talk about some stuff that he's been doing on the road, as well as have a good old groove session. So y'all stay tuned, and we'll be right back. All right, dude, we finally got you in here, man. Tell
Yeah,
the people
man.
who you are.
Well, I'm jraines, bass player, drummer, producer, teacher as
Okay.
well. Living right here in Atlanta. I play bass. Have been playing bass for Israel Houghton for about 11 years now.
Wow, it's been that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, within that time, I've had the honor and the privilege of playing with many other gospel artists,
Okay.
such as William McDowell. I've done a few dates with Donnie McClurkin,
Okay.
a few dates with Tasha Cobb, stuff like that. But mainly it's been Israel.
Okay.
for the most part.
What are some of like the? I know you guys recently did the Live in Asia. That's like the most recent record you
Yeah.
did with Israel, which is a great record. My
Oh.
kids love Risen,
Awesome.
and in Jesus' name, we have to play it almost every day.
Oh.
But yeah, they love that record. That's a great record, and we also like the. You did recently a record with William McDowell, right?
Yeah.
What's the name of that record?
Sounds of the Revival.
Okay, cool. All right, it's some cool stuff. I've heard that record. I haven't heard the whole record, but our church does do some of those songs off of there,
Awesome.
and it's really cool record as well, man.
Oh,
some
thank you.
great bass playing.
Thank you.
I just want to ask you, just from the gospel side, I had a friend of mine, Jerome Flood, was in here on the last episode that we did. He kind of talked about some things that he dealt with from more of the R&B side of things, and I want to kind of get your perspective on the gospel side of things,
Sure.
the touring, how that feels,
Sure.
some of the ins and outs, ups and downs with that.
Yeah.
Kind of enlighten the people, if you will.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I have had the privilege of doing both. Both the R&B pop side and gospel side. Mainly gospel. So, being with the same artist for as long as I've been, you create a family. It's like a family vibe. So, being on the road, it's like being on the road with family. You know what I mean, at least with Israel,
Okay.
It is. A lot of people think it's a glamorous life on the road, and sometimes it can be.
Okay.
I've had the honor and the privilege of traveling around this world, like literally. I've been to different parts of Asia, I've been to different parts of Europe, Africa,
Okay.
South America. So I've had a lot of time around the world from traveling. So there's that perk, that I get to get. Some of the down parts of it, it's a lot of traveling.
Okay.
A lot of traveling. I do have a family.
Exactly.
So
I was gonna say something about that because
Yeah.
me and you kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
Our kids are about the same age.
Absolutely.
We both have young wives, and so
yeah.
how does that affect family when you go?
There has to be a balance.
Okay.
There has to be a balance. There's no perfect answer because everybody's situation is different.
Absolutely.
But the main thing would be balance and communication.
Okay.
The thing with me and my wife, me and my wife met in college, and we both went to Berkeley College of Music. So there's that understanding there. Like she
knew what she was getting herself into.
Yeah, she married
Yeah.
a musician, and during that time, I was touring at a very young age as well.
Okay.
So that fact was known as far as me being a traveling musician, and, or that being one of my professions as far as traveling.
Okay.
But as we've gotten older, we got married, we have 2 children, and that communication is key. 10 years ago, we didn't have FaceTime.
Right.
There were different things then, but to the advantage of a lot of traveling musicians now, there's FaceTime, there's Skype, there's many forms of communication, but keeping that open is the main thing.
And I totally agree with the communication thing. Like even me, I don't tour. I'm more of a homebody right now in this stage of my career,
Sure.
and it's more production work. I'm more studio here, but even in that, it's like I'm here in this studio a lot, so
Yeah.
I'm present at the house, but I know I can be away, if you know what I mean, even though I'm
Absolutely.
present in the house. And so even my wife and I have to sometimes have that communication thing, and I'll have to, make sure I'm giving her time, and I think that's important,
Absolutely.
especially among musicians, that you can become so consumed in your work that you don't give your spouse that time. So it could be stuff simple. I'll even have to go red boxes every other day to just make sure we're giving that time for each other and that kind of thing. So I think, like you're saying, the communication thing is definitely the key. I wanted to ask you something because
Sure.
I know, and pretty much all of your fans and followers kind of knew a few years back that you had a really, really strong bout with kidney disorder situation. How did you handle that, and how was your family? I know they were supportive, but
Wow.
even with the road situation,
Yeah.
how did that work? Because there's some musicians that want to do this thing full time, and if they happen to be stricken with something, prayerfully not, but how did you handle that? How did you get through that?
Man, I wish we had a lot more time to really dive into that, but I can say it was, to kind of summarize it, before my kidneys failed, I was doing a lot of traveling. I was traveling a lot. like I said, with the pop star JoJo at the time when she was a lot younger, and then with Israel.
Okay.
And at this time, Israel was busy. We're busy. I mean, traveling the world, gone pretty much every weekend we were gone. And I want to say 2007 is when I found out that my kidneys were failing. 2009, I had to go on dialysis. And when at that time I had to go on dialysis, I was kind of hit with a reality, like reality hit me. You know, you can't what you were doing to provide for yourself and your family, you can no longer do.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, it was a state of depression for a good minute.
Okay.
But I had to get to the point where I have to live my life for me. I have to still live my life. I have this thing that I've never dealt with before, never heard of. I didn't even know what my kidneys were or what they did before they failed.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So I became very educated in what was going on with my body. And I said, okay, I still have to live. Now, during that time, I was on dialysis for 4 years.
Okay.
Now, during that time, I still had my ups and very low downs.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, I can't travel. But this is when I really started teaching.
Okay.
Like, I've always loved teaching. I love giving back. I love teaching. Like, if I know it, it's yours. If you want it, you can have it, you know? And I like seeing people get the light bulb moment. Like, wow, I got it. You know what I mean? I get joy out of that. So that's what really kind of birthed teaching during that moment. And but my family played a huge part because they were supportive. They're very supportive. Whenever I was down, it was I'm here with you. There's people watching you. There are people depending on you. So it wasn't but it didn't feel like pressure. It didn't feel like get up because people are watching. It was more like, I don't think you realize how many people are watching you go through what you're going through. So during those moments, that really helped me to push through. Now, my wife was and it still is my rock. You know, during that, where I'm like, I'm watching. She's like, I'm watching you. I have your back.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And then my kids. You know, I was still on dialysis while both of my children were born.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't. My daughter was born in August of 2013, and I got the call for my kidney in November of 2013.
I remember seeing that post, and that's the thing. It's like in the social media world, I hate to say it this way, but you see people's post, and you see somebody else's post, and so for that moment, you see what they're going through in their life, and then you scroll down and you move on with your life. But this person still has the reality of dealing with, okay, this is still my life. You saw a post, and this is what I'm dealing with every day. So yeah, that's wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Once my children were born, that's what really encouraged me to push forward. You know, to really work on my brand. You know, the Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And I want to be a good man.
Hey, come on. We both in the same boat.
You know, so being on dialysis I had to factor everything in on a schedule. I was on dialysis Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m.
Okay.
And so that meant once I was done at 10 a.m., I was in my car, and this is when I was living in Boston. Go straight to my apartment, and then we go through the day. If I was teaching lessons or if I had rehearsal that evening, and usually I was extremely weak. On dialysis days, I was extremely weak, and that really took a toll on my body. Or I had to have a time where I just kind of rest.
Okay.
Because if I didn't, I was going to push myself, too far.
Okay.
But I will always test the limit to see how far can I go, because I still have to provide for my family.
Absolutely.
And that's even what grew my love even the more for teaching.
Okay.
And I wanted to be a good example from the other side, because most musicians don't have health insurance. Most musicians don't take care of their body. Most musicians don't even know what their body does or what to put inside their body to keep their body working for them. So unfortunately for me, having a vital organ shut down, it made me learn about that organ and every other organ within inside my body.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just so that I can be, knowledgeable, so that I can be here. Can't say, oh, God heal me, and then I'm not doing my part by eating right and exercising and drinking water and, staying away from the things that I should stay away from. And, we indulge, in sweets and this and that and that, like, and have fun and enjoy life, but you want to make sure that your body is good. But
absolutely.
But that, going back to my children, that's what really made me, okay, I have to make a conscious decision in my mind that I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be healthy. Even my kidneys, they're not working. I'm on dialysis. I'm on a machine 3 days a week, but I still have to live my life. I still have to treat my body as if it's 100% healthy.
Absolutely.
And like I said before, man, there was some really good days and there's some really, really bad days.
Okay.
Dealing with that and not being able to travel. But going into travel, because you did ask about that, how was I able to travel and still doing that? That goes back to scheduling. With my health insurance and with health companies around the country, if I had to go to a different state, I would have to at least know like 2 weeks before, so that my dialysis clinic can call the dialysis clinic in whatever state I was going to.
You're literally having to do that on the road.
On the road, but I had to know my dates ahead of time. So
okay.
And Israel was, man, hats off and big thanks to Israel, because he was extremely supportive. Very supportive. Like I would, if I could do the date, I'm there. If I couldn't, then I couldn't. And he's always been very supportive and helpful there. But I'll just let them know, guys, I have to know at least 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time, so that I can set up a dialysis wherever we're going.
Okay.
Or if it's over the weekend, I would do dialysis Friday, finish dialysis at 10 a.m., catch a flight at 12 or 1, and to wherever we're going that weekend, and then be back by Monday, so I can do dialysis again.
Wow,
and then
that's
it's
a
a strict diet, and when you're on dialysis, you can't take in as much fluid.
Okay.
You're on a fluid restriction.
Okay.
To like 2 liters a day. And depending on your body, sometimes it's less than that. And you're on a salt restriction because salt retains water.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot. It was a lifestyle change.
So were you able to lug your bases and stuff like that by yourself?
Once I was on dialysis, yes. But before I had to go on dialysis, I was on tour with Israel, and we did a tour with Chris Tomlin for about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 2009.
Okay.
That was in the spring of 2009. 2 weeks before the tour was over, mind you, this was before dialysis. So, but for that 2 years before dialysis, I was a test subject, because the doctors didn't know why my kidneys failed. They just failed. Okay. So the only fact they knew is that my kidneys had failed and they were failing, and they needed to figure out how to stop it, but they didn't know why. So I was a guinea pig.
Wow.
For that. But 2 weeks before I had to go on dialysis on this tour with Israel, and my body just got to the breaking down point, to the point where for me to walk 5 steps, that took about 10 minutes. To the point on tour, I had to have people carry my base from the tour bus to the stage, because it took me at least 20-30 minutes to walk from the bus to the stage. And then once I was on stage, I had to sit on a stool. And I sit on the stool, we do our set, and then I go back to the bus. And at that point, I had to go on dialysis. And once I went on dialysis, it started to, clear out, my system, what my kidneys weren't doing at that time. It was clearing out my system, and it was helping me to kind of, regulate things in my body. And although it was a very low part of my life, it was saving my life.
Wow. Amazing, man. I think a lot of people don't know all the details to that story. I'm sure people close to you know, A lot of people out there don't know the
Yeah.
details. So that's an amazing testimony. I ain't gonna say story.
Yeah.
That's an amazing testimony to see you here, healthy, doing well,
Absolutely.
looking like old Justin.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, man. I so real quick, and you did mention the lessons. How do people find your lessons? You do one-on-one lessons right now, right?
Absolutely. So for students that are here in the Atlanta area, you can come see me at my studio, and then my students that are around the world, it's via Skype, and you can email me at jraines.lessons@gmail.com.
And we'll put that in the link description below.
Yeah, so that's how you can find me. You'll get an email with the registration information.
Okay.
You fill out the information, and then we get back to you. You know, it's not a, hey bro, I need lessons.
serious inquiries only. Yeah.
You know, but that's how you can find me.
Okay.
And, I teach from beginner to advanced, and I enjoy teaching.
Okay. And you also teach reading as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because for the students that ask me about reading, I do read, but I don't teach reading. He actually teaches you to read if you want to learn that side of the thing. So
Absolutely.
pretty good man.